Hello friends, my name is Claire. Welcome back to my channel. For this week's video, I'm going to be doing a chill challenge. I really want to do a cottage for this week's video. It's something I haven't done in a while, and so I thought a cottage would be fun, but I was struggling a lot with the shell or the floor plan of the house. So I luckily found this shell challenge on Instagram, and I'm like, you know what? This could work. This could be my base for my cottage. So first we are going to be starting out in the backyard. I wanted this to be like a cute little farm cottage, and I just haven't used like the items from the cottage living pack in so long. I kind of want to like, get re-familiarize myself with them. I kind of did something similar with my last week's video with the eco lifestyle pack. So if you have the Eco Lifestyle Pack, or if you're looking into the Eco Lifestyle Pack, you can go check out that video. And that video only used the Eco Lifestyle Pack. This video mostly uses the Cottage Living Pack with a few other items from the other packs. And so I did try to keep this pack, or this build pack, limited. So we are just going to be making a little fenced in area for some animals. You saw earlier I have a chicken coop in the backyard, and there is a hut or a shed for either a cow or a llama. You can choose either one. So we are just going to be now in the interior of the house. For this cottage, I was trying to go for like French country, and so I feel like the wallpaper can really tell that story. So we're just going to be working on the entryway now, and it's just a very simple area. Just try to keep it simple since it is a tighter space. It's where the I located the stairs for the second level. I don't know why, it just kind of made sense. In my house, the stairs are like right in the entryway, and so it just kind of like felt natural in a way, felt familiar. So we are going to be adding a fireplace. I was mentioning that this cottage would have been remodeled here and there, but it would still have like a core little fireplace in the center of the house, although I did try to place the fireplace somewhat in the same area as this roof chimney piece that came with the cottage living pack. So we are now just trying to figure out like a communal area for like gatherings or watching TV. So we are just going to be kind of also coming up with a color scheme right now, and I feel like this area eventually works. You can kind of see the struggle that I will be going through. Well, it's not really a struggle. I was just kind of putting everything on the walls. I could then like the middle of the room was just very empty, but I feel like I eventually got it to a good like flow through like activity to activity. And that biggest step was like moving the fireplace. I kind of flip flop where the fireplace is and this like TV cozy couch area. So we are just going to be adding some bookshelves, and these bookshelves are from the Get Together pack. I feel like the Get Together pack is a very good pack. You get some like older looking items and some newer looking items, and you do also have the ability to like make clubs, and that's really helpful when you have Sims that like don't live on the same lot, but you want to have like family reunions or family get-togethers, and it's just easier to call like a club meeting in air quotes to gather those Sims. So we are going to be making a little desk area. This house doesn't have like a proper office or study. I probably could have made the greenhouse a study, but it looked like it fit better as a greenhouse in my opinion. So I made that a greenhouse. You'll see that shortly, and we're just currently going to be decorating this desk with a lot of book items and like this cute little book looking like I tried to make it look really like a bookworm sim lived in this cottage. So we are just going to be starting the process of rearranging some of these items. I feel like having rugs just kind of helped like cement like, okay, this is like the TV area, okay, this is like the fireplace area. So I tried to do that throughout this house. I basically use the same rug multiple times because it comes in multiple swatches. So we are just going to be now switching the TV and the living room area. I felt like this had a little bit better flow, and the TV is kind of like a more modern item, and I wanted this house to kind of have a more old style feel, kind of like grandma chic type of style. So we are just going to be adding the same chairs to the fireplace that's in the living room just for consistency, but I realized it would look better to have the chairs from the chess table by the fireplace just to like not have it be so duplicated right next to each other, and I feel like that looked a lot better. So we are just going to be adding some items on to the little coffee table underneath the TV, and that kind of took me a minute to figure out like how exactly I wanted to have this like table underneath the TV look. And I do realize that like, oh, there is no bathroom on this first level of the house, so that does also lead to some more rearranging. So we are just going to be first adding a lamp into the living space, and then we're going to realize that, oh, there's not a bathroom on this first level. But I feel like having the bathroom did help with bringing these items kind of more in the center of the house instead of having them like against every wall. So this is the bathroom. It is just a half bath, but is a very large half bath. And after the video, I realized like, oh, I should use this little cubby behind the TV for like a more private little toilet area. And I did. So it is a very large half bath. You could possibly fit a bathtub in this area if you desire, but I wanted to keep it pretty simple. This is only a two-bedroom, three-bathroom home, so like I feel like having another tub just didn't really feel like necessary, or another shower just didn't feel necessary. So now we are in the greenhouse, and before I say anything else, I just want to mention that I do not end up using these vertical garden beds. I realize that it's like this vertical garden bed and the rug I will use in this space shortly just doesn't really fit in a way. I thought at first that it could be like privacy since it's like a wall of or room of mirrors, but I realized that like this is the only item I'm using from the Eco Lifestyle pack. So I do change this area to have like short garden beds. I was imagining that this space would be an addition to the original cottage, and that this would be like where the starter plants start growing, and then they would eventually gr- get into the large garden beds that you saw at the beginning of the video. So we are just going to be adding some more kind of like farm i- items, and just going to be adding some little more cozy items, and then we are going to be going into the kitchen. I tried to keep the kitchen pretty simple with the design, and I was trying to keep in mind that there's only 3 Sims living in this house. So my original thought was having the kitchen in the corner, but it just kind of felt claustrophobic. Like there was all this open space for a small dining nook, so it made more sense to have the kitchen on this wall and then have where the kitchen was originally going to be the small dining nook area, because it just seemed more cozy and cute. And so we are just going to be adding those items onto the other wall, and I feel like this flows better. And so we are just going to be adding a dining table. I was thinking this would be more like a kitchen nook area instead of like a full-on like Thanksgiving feast area. So we are just going to be adding a rug. This is the rug that I mentioned earlier that you'll see a lot just in different patterns, and so we're just going to be adding a kitchen hutch. I kind of forgot about this item until I built a kitchen in The Sims 4 only using the cottage living pack. I'm like, oh my gosh, this item's amazing. I need to use it everywhere. I probably won't, but it was a good reminder to have when using and kitchen hutch is this cool item that has like bookshelves on it and like little china plates and glassware. So we are just going to be adding some bar stools so you can have a total of six Sims living in, or not living, but like dining at this house. And so we are just going to be adding a nice little. I was imagining that would be like an oil painting, and now we are going to be on the second level. First, we're going to be adding a table into this little nook area. And the table finding was the easy part. Finding the item to put on the table was a little bit of the harder part. So we are just going to be adding this little pig statue. I feel like I add a lot of bunnies in my build, especially in this one. So I kind of wanted to do something different and add a little pig statue. And I think it fit well with the French country feel of the build. So we are just going to be adding some books, trying to make it not look too empty with just having a pig on the table. And now we're just going to be adding a small, well, not small, a plant in the corner and going to be now in the kids' bedroom. So if you saw last week's video, you know I did a blue kid's bedroom, and this room is no different. I realized that when I was recording the video, and it's like I probably could have changed the wallpaper. I just knew I wanted to have bunnies on the wallpaper, and this swatch of wallpaper is not the only one. There's also one where it's just like flowers, and I wanted to use a bunny one. Bunny wallpaper also you can see has more than just bunnies. It has leaves and mushrooms. I do also add a bunny stump into the front of the house, so there will be wild bunnies following your Sims around and joining them on their adventures. You can give them gifts, you can befriend them. I think that feature is super cool, but I still would wish to just like have them in my family, like play with them as like if they're a cat or a dog. So we are just going to be adding some children's clutter. Wanted this space to feel kind of messy with the different play items I have out here, and I do move the little like mess on the floor underneath the dresser to kind of hide the fact that there are two backpacks in this house but only one child. So we are just going to be adding some posters now, and I feel like this was just a fun little like kids item. I feel like we need to have more posters like this. It's like nice that we have like different swatches or more swatches, but I feel like we need to have like more posters that look like they're like being in the wall with like tacks. So we are just going to be going and adding a little whimsical tea party. I was imagining that picture would be titled, and so we are just going to be kind of finalizing what sim would be living here. I feel like the sim would be a little girl, mostly just because of the fact that the pink shirt from the children's mess is pink. Obviously you can have whoever you want in this house. That's just who I kind of came up with when I was designing. And now you're in their bathroom. So this is the bathroom that the child would be using. The parents do have their own ensuite, and so we are going to be adding some counters. I wanted to use the same counters from the downstairs, just in a different swatch to kind of keep that consistent with like the time period, well, not the time period, but like keep it consistent with the house. So we are just going to be adding some towels and going to be kind of finishing up the space. The space is just very simple. It's like in my normal 2 by 3 room, but it was a little bit different because it's like a little bump out for the shower. So we are just going to be adding some pictures above the shower, or not above the shower, above the towel rack, and just going to be finishing up this room with another little towel rack above the counter. I feel like this space turned out pretty well. I did also try to keep it consistent with adding the same like backsplash as the kitchen. And now we are in the primary suite. So this area I just tried to keep very simple. I did try to match the bed frames with that like raw iron look. So we are just going to be kind of figuring what else to add into this room. In a way, it was kind of hard because I planned for this room to have like a private, like separate walk-in closet area. So we don't really need to have that vanity, but maybe that holds more like bedding and stuff. You know, you don't really get to decide where the bedding goes in The Sims because your Sims don't really need extra bedding. So we are just going to be adding some side tables from the get together pack along with these pictures. They just seemed very French country to me. And so we are going to be adding or just kind of like changing a few things around. Wanted to add a window to this area because it like kind of like gave both sides of the wall something interesting. I was also running out of pictures of like cottage core or French country in this house, but luckily this was the last room of the or third to last room of the build. So we are just going to be in the bathroom now. This bathroom did kind of go through a few different layouts that I'll show you. I do just keep a tub in this area instead of having like a separate tub and shower. If your Sims really want to shower, they can use the secondary bathroom. They can take baths in this one. And so we are just going to be adding some mirrors, and I kind of like tried to keep like the core of like this room together with like the colors, but I do kind of like separate the two sinks, and I feel like this kind of gives it an interesting layout that I don't really see that often. Well, I don't really do that often, so we are just going to be rearranging things just ever so slightly. So the tub and sink are on one side, and there's another sink and toilet on the other side. And I feel like this just kind of gave it a little bit more interestingness to it, especially with there being like such a big window in this room. I wanted to like kind of keep things separate and just kind of like have like the window be like the main point. So we are now in the walk-in closet. I don't really do walk-in closets that often. I kind of forgot that walk-in closets were a thing. And anyway, we are just going to be adding some dressers underneath. So this room is actually functional as a closet. And then we're just going to be adding some mirrors and some pictures onto this space. If you want to see like the decorations I put on the dresser, you can watch the screenshots. We are getting kind of close to the screenshots, so you won't have to wait too long. So we are just going to be changing the colors just a little bit just to say I didn't use the first swatch that came. And now we are on the balcony, which is the final space. I wanted this area to just have another skill building item so your Sims can paint their surroundings out here and read a book on the bench. So we are getting close to the end of the video. So if you enjoyed watching, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. I post new videos every single Tuesday. And if you have any build suggestions for me, especially any like wintry builds, leave them down in the comments. I love doing winter builds during the month of December, and I hope to see you all next week for another Sims 4 video. Bye!